we would like to hear what our special guests for the day think so far. So, um, Jids, would you be kind enough to take the stage, please?
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everybody.
Wa alaikum
Uh,
assalam. Good evening.
in as much as I would love to say much, but I'll try as much as possible to say less. Auditory. And I've listened to the judges. They are all on point with everything about the performer. Although I have a bit of different opinion when it comes to the performer. I feel like this piece would have been a very good masterpiece if the performer is she's more in tune to the feelings of the writer. And if she's a good, if she polished the way of her delivery, it would really be a very good masterpiece. Like, if when she's performing it, there's the emotions connected as during the time she was writing it, and then there's this understanding of flow of delivery. I noticed that she performed it just normal reading. I don't know if she wants to be a performer on stage. If she does, I would suggest that you do more of learning how to deliver it with the emotions of your writing. It will be a great masterpiece. It is not short. It is not short for a performance. If it was delivered with the emotions that was written in it, I promise you, it would be something that would take us maybe the next 90 seconds or 120 seconds listening, and the attention that would be given would be there. So because of the delivery, the span of attention is more. But the piece is absolutely beautiful. So I would only suggest that, dear Zuhura, please, you could do better in the performance. And your voice is nice. I love the cadence of how you read. So I'm very sure if you want to be a performer, if you can work on that, it would be really, you'll be somebody wants to listen to. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll work on that, inshallah.
I think next we'll hear what Abdulrazak has to say. Thank you, Jids, for those insightful remarks.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for having me. It's really nice to be here. I think this is my first time joining a poetry reading this year, because I've been focusing on school and wherever. But it is really nice to be here, and I want to first say well done to everybody that has read. I was here when Fatima recited her piece, and I heard what the judge said. I sincerely don't know what judge was speaking, but I heard what the judge was saying about limerick and how the piece or the poem is not supposed to be too dense and thick, because you are going to be considering your audience. And it made me remember a conversation I was having with someone, I think last year, about how I think the fact that there are so many labels in even the creative industry makes it very difficult for us to say this is this and this is not this or this is that. So when I think when you say spoken word, I want to believe that people should understand that at this point in the creative industry, you cannot just say spoken word and believe you have covered every aspect of performance, because I personally believe there is spoken word which can just be you rhyming or doing whatever you want to do, and then there is what is this called? Word play, there is rhyme, there are even people that just come and just throw punchlines. I think they call them punsters. And then there is performance poetry. So what Fatima recited for me was a performance poem and not really a spoken word. And that is how a performance piece is supposed to be. I really enjoyed it. So far, that is like my best piece since I came here. I love performance piece because it is a poem. Like, I want to feel the depth of language. I want to see the aesthetics of language and the beauty of what words can do, other than the fact that you can say cliches and punchlines. Anybody can say cliches, anybody can say punchlines. But I am a poet for a reason. I'm not here to be moved by lines that would move the general public and be shouting, hey, hey, hey. I'm not here for that. I'm here to feel what poetry really can do. So I don't think what Fatima performed is a page poem, even though it can actually be classified as a page poem if you want to go to that aspect. But I'm talking performance piece, and that was a performance poem, and that was very beautiful. And you also said something about Rudy Francisco and limerick, and I really don't really think that should have entered the conversation of her performance, because I for once, even if poems normally can do what the poet decides what the poem should do. So if the poet decides the poem should be humorific, then it should make us laugh. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But as I would love to quote one of my favorite authors in craft essays, Richard Hugo, as he said, what you say the poem is what the poem is. Every word or every piece or every line you write exists because you put it there. And I think one African writer, I don't know if it is Chinua Achebe, I'm not going to quote whoever, but I don't know if it is him or someone that I cannot remember, said, you write or you are going to write and assume you are dead, because you are not going to be around to explain your writing to anybody. And I think that is really why writing is subjective. So you read, and what you get from that piece is entirely different from what the poet wrote it with. There is this poet that said he wrote a piece, and he said what inspired the piece was intimacy. Like he had S with his partner, and after it was so beautiful that it inspired a piece. And then the poem won a poetry prize about aching. Like the theme of the prize was aching. So the judges, what they were seeing is wound and ache and whatever. But what he wrote it after was intimacy. So you can write your piece, but immediately you finish writing it, you perform it or you publish it, it doesn't belong to you no more. It belongs to whoever is reading it. And everybody is actually allowed to have any kind of interpretation they want to have on any piece. But beyond all of this, there is always going to be a bar, or a bar, because you cannot just say every piece is good and every piece is bad because it is subjective. No. Beyond the fact that we can say pieces are subjective, we have to have like a standard. So below this standard, a piece is bad. You cannot come with a piece that has broken tenses, lines that are entering into each other, and messed up cliches and tell us it is a good piece because you were the one that wrote it and you feel it is good. No, it has to go beyond a certain criteria, which is already set by the natural order of things. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Abdulrazak, for the comment. I seriously love it because it's beautiful. Maybe for clarification, I was just citing an example with limerick. So limerick came as an example. I wasn't actually saying that the poem should be limerick. No, that's not the point that I was making. So the point that I was actually making is that when we read collections written by spoken word artists that are known for the art, we can see that they also have short forms. One thing that always surprises me, or that strikes me, is the ability for their poems to stir my heart. Like when you read it, you will feel something in you, which is one of the foundational descriptions of any poem. That a poem should be able to stir your mind, like you should feel it. So even if you read it or you hear somebody performing it, then of course you should feel something of that nature. So I was like, in a way, saying that of course a poem can be short, but that connection with the audience is also important, which also Jit emphasized. So this is for clarity's sake. I wasn't saying that the poem must be limerick. No, limerick was just an example that I cited. Besides that, I love the rest of the comments. Thank you.